Right, good morning everyone. Welcome back to another video. Today we're back out with the Fert spreader. We've got our spreader back, that's been fixed by Wilcox. So this will be the first time out with that since we've had it back. We're applying some nitrogen to some farm platform ground, which is the science ground here. This is what we call the blue treatment, so it's like a clover and legume grass mix. So we'll get out and have a look at that in a minute. But I just got to set the spreader up first before we do anything. So I'm going to go through on the Kverlin app and put in my target rate and what we need to do, and then after adjust the spreader accordingly. So I've just gone through on the app and told it what I want to spread, and it's given me my recommended settings. Because we're on a clover based pasture, we're not spreading very much nitrogen at all. It's 20 kilos of N per hectare, so that works out with our fertiliser, it's 69 kilos of product. So we put in our product box 69 kilos in there, and then the letter that we have to change to is L. That all comes through on the app, and then it also tells us that we need to use fine dosing, which is a setting on the spreader itself, so we'll get out and do that in a minute. Right, so we're outside with the spreader now. So if you see under here, this is the only manual adjustment we've got on the spreader, and this is the fine dose setting. So this side here is all three holes in the bottom of the hopper open, and on the right hand side where I've got to move it to is only one hole open, so that it can be a lot more accurate with its flow rate when you're spreading small amounts of fertiliser like we are today. So we'll put that one and that one across. I just have to remember when I go back to spreading higher rates on other ground to put it back to normal. So we've got that done. That's all ready. Dog stretch his legs. And we'll spread some fertiliser. We've been around the headland once, we're just doing our up and down work now. One thing that I did really miss about not having our machine was the section control. The one that we had on hire, it did have you could shut one side off at a time, but this one's got multiple sections each side that you can shut off, which is really nice, and I'm sure it saves you a lot of fertiliser. We seem to be running at about the right rate. We're spread 3 hectares so far, 210 kilos, so that's spot on. And the only weird thing so far I've noticed is that our disc speed doesn't seem to appear on the screen. So it says we're doing 0 RPM, but I don't know. I know that when I have it in 1000 speed on my preset with the hand throttle right forward, that we're at 950, so hopefully we're at 950. But why that isn't working, I don't quite know. But everything else seems to work, all the section controls working fine. The weigh cells have been recalibrated, so it was 0 when it was empty, which was good. So yeah, going well. Okay guys, we've just finished. Just totting up what we've spread here. So this is my spreadsheet. We're in Dairy South, which is here. So we should have spread 441 kilos. We spread 430. You lose your little bit in the corners like that. They don't get coloured in. Just for where you turn in that. But I mean, that is incredibly accurate across a 6.5 hectare field that you're only 11 kilos out. So that's the advantage of having your section control and all the GPS and all the mapping, is you can be incredibly accurate even with incredibly low rates of fertiliser like we're spreading today. So very happy with that. I'm going to do my paperwork, do another field, and then grab a cup of coffee. I'm just getting ready to go and spread some of the farm ground now. So we finished with our low rate, so we're going to put this handle back to where he lives. We'll do the same on the other side, so we're going to go up and spread 116 kilos a hectare on some farm grazing ground. I did half of it about 3 weeks ago, and John since turned some of the cattle out, so we're going to do the other half now, and then when they want to get there it should hopefully be a bit further ahead of them. I have just realised though, both the loaders are out the yard, so I have to wait a minute. Craig's gone to move a lick tub holder, so we'll get it all ready, and then when he comes back we'll have the Manitou. Right guys, so we're up at the off farm, some of the silage ground and some of the grazing ground for the cattle. We've got to go through our field of oats here to get to some of the ground down the bottom. I just thought I'd come and have a look at them whilst we're here. So these have had 100 kilos of nitram per hectare. I think they're looking really well. There's a couple of spots you can see where water sat in the winter if the camera picks it up, where they've just gone a bit dark. Spot there, and there's a little spot on the headland. But other than that, I think they look really, really well. Flying along, look. Hopefully we'll get a good crop of oats there. It's also had its spray. I think I included that on a video, just to get rid of these. Some of the weeds, you can see they've curled up and died off. So spray's doing its job. So we'll head down some of the grazing fields down the bottom there and spread some of the fert we want to. Right, he just loves a cuddle. Right, so we're just going to set a quick line along this fence here. Set up our AB lines. So that's done that. So in a minute when we get to the end, it's already got our AB lines mapped for us. Because this is farm ground up here, there's no drains collecting any of the information. I haven't got to worry about staying off my 5 metre boundary, so we can spread tight to the foot of the hedge. And also with our spreader, having our spreader back, it's the section control doesn't allow you to spread past your border anyway. So our border is inside the fence line. You can't spread over that because it won't let it. You know you can't be spreading it where you shouldn't. And all I do is I treat them like arable fields. Go into the corners and back round. Yeah, so we'll just give this a bit of a boost to get it going. Nearly forgot. Lift the old border control up. One thing I have noticed is our border control is an awful lot slower going up than the one we had on hire. We'll steer itself onto the line there and start spreading. Put some aircon on because it's pretty warm in here. I don't necessarily need to, but I do press stop on the fertiliser controller, just because I've got a habit of doing it at home for the drainage, but not necessarily need to. There's a couple of deer in here when I turned up. I'm not well versed enough on deer to know what they were, but they were fairly big and they looked grey, they didn't look red. And then skipping off down the bottom. Right, we're just getting set up in a new field. We're in Linhay, which is that one. Back ourselves into the corner here. Start. Just there. And then the other thing we need to do now is also clear our fuel usage, so we know how much we're using on each field. So clear that one. Swap them over. So that little flashy symbol there means the border disc is down, so we're doing the headland. Still haven't got any RPM showing up on there. Don't know why that is. Power shaft on. Preset on. Flat out. Start. That's all there is to it. And then whilst we're here, we'll do a quick line down this hedge. This is the straight hedge of the field. Nice one. That is as difficult as it needs to be. So I don't know what speed everyone else spreads fertiliser at, but I seem to tickle along at about 12k. That does me quite nicely, just in case you hit any rough patches or whatever. Normally got enough momentum to get yourself out of a wet hole if you hit one as well. I know when we had that Amazon spreader here on demo, we were doing near a 20k, but I'm not sure I want to be going quite that fast. Here's the beauty again of the section control. You can go into a corner, not necessarily square. And you always spread it correctly coming out, because you don't overspread your border, you don't spread what you've already spread. Right, headland done. Border control up. Reverse back to a tram line. No, tram line, a guide line. That's about there. Turn the steering on. Let him find his line. Turn him on. We're off. That is my life at the moment. So thank you to everyone who commented on my community post back along asking about fert spreaders. There was a strong consensus that Amazon was the favourite. I think there was like 350 votes and 60% of them were Amazon. So there's obviously a lot of people using Amazon spreaders. I think the other popular ones were Coon. That was a popular one that people commented. KRM and Bogbail. They seem to be the popular ones. Obviously we've only seen an Amazon other than the KV that we've got working, so that was sort of why I asked the question, just to see what other people like and pick people's brains. One day this one will want changing. Just knowing what's out there, what you can change it to, what people get on with the best. On the last field of the grazing ground on the off farm, it's a field called Floodbank. It's one of the bigger fields up here. I think it's 6 hectares, 6.5 hectares, something like that. And fencer fields up here, fencing one of the boundaries as well, because one of the fences has had its day and it started to rot all the posts, and the cattle did get in behind it once or twice last year, so he's up here making that good. Right, border control up for the last time. Off we go. Right, we've finished spreading fert. There's a lorry coming, there's 2 lorries coming. I'm going to wait up here for them. Yeah, finished spreading fert, so we'll go home and have some dinner. I'm an hour late for dinner, but never mind. He was quite happy that we stopped for him. That was the Coles man. So we'll go back and have dinner, and then carry on with some of that low rate fert on the blue platform ground. Just loading up with fert. I need more than 1 bag, but less than 2. So we've deployed our special little device here. This bag thing, I don't know what the actual name of it is. Anyway, you stick this in the bottom of the bag, or you drop a bag on top of it. It's got like a pointy end, and then you use this slide to let out however much you want. So I'll go and sit in the cab now and see what's coming out, and then I can come and close it when I've got enough. So you can see it's running slowly, just for the purpose of showing you how it works. You see on the screen here, we're going up. So I need about 760 kilos to spread what I want to. So just to be safe, we'll set it up to 8 and then go on spreading. Obviously, the more you open this, the faster it will run out. Right, we're about there. So now we're just pull him shut like so, and then that will just sit back on the floor with the bag on top, so that tomorrow when I've got more to spread, I can either just cut this out if I want the whole bag, or I can let it all out and take it out of the bag afterwards. I just don't like leaving fert in the spreader because it just rots them. So yeah, you can see how handy they are. Just leave the bag like that. I left it over here so I know there's that bag with it in. You've actually got 2 of them. There's one in that bag, a single top as well. Right guys, so we've got a couple of fields left. Just setting the gates so I can get myself through the gap here without whacking anything. Actually a gate buried there in the floor, I don't know if you can see that. I don't know why that's there. Some of these fields here, they've got a lot of clover and legumes in them. Problem is this time of year the clover's very dormant. If I get down somewhere on the ground like here, you can see the clover's in here, but the grass sort of overpowers it. And what we find is this sort of ground, the grass doesn't really take off like the rest of it does. So like this is the blue farmlet, the green farmlet, which is just permanent pasture that hasn't necessarily got all the clover and the legumes in it. That'll be well ahead of what this is. So although we shouldn't really have to feed this with any nitrogen because the clover should be fixing the N itself, we find that you've got to give it a bit of something just to get it going and try and get a bulk there for the silage and also for the cows to come out and graze in. The green platform cattle have been turned out today because their grass is there, but this is way behind. But what we'll find is we'll turn the cattle out and we'll take first cut, and then the clover will come back like mad. And then you've got to be a bit careful about the cattle going on it with getting bloat, but also there is a surplus of grass then sort of in the summer. But here's a better bit, look. You see how much clover's here? So there's loads and loads of clover. It's just overpowered by the grass at the minute. So like I say, we're just tickling on. I mean, it's hardly anything, it's 20 kilos of nitrogen per hectare. So what does that work out an acre divided by 2.5? So 8. So it's getting 8 kilos of nitrogen per acre. So just try and visualise that. Guys, it might look very dark in here, and that's because it is. The weather's gone a bit funny, and well, we're in the silage pit, so it's dark. Anyway, that's the end of the video. We've finished spreading fert for today. Thank you guys for watching. Exciting things to come. You'll be watching this on Sunday. Today is Tuesday. Tomorrow on Wednesday, my new drone arrives, which is pretty awesome. So hopefully we'll get some drone action soon. I splashed out and got myself a DJI Mavic. So looking forward to using that. But for now, I got to go and do a whole bunch of paperwork. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And see you on another video very soon. Cheerio.